adjusting to just really living in like a true adult body, right? And so depending on life's stressors, like what that level is for you in the different aspects of life. So like in wellness, in wealth, in your health, in your relationships, in your career, in all these different areas, depending on where you sit in that whole ecosystem, you can really just be super stressed out, and it also really messes with your hormones. So I have heard a lot of women like in the late 30s especially, where you're just kind of like in this really weird limbo space where you're not quite like older, but you're not like super young anymore, obviously. But in the bigger scheme of life, you're still young. So when it comes to food, I really want to encourage you to, like, if you notice that you're gaining some weight, the weight's not coming off like it used to, do not start to starve yourself. I went through that. I did that in my early 30s. I was like, oh my gosh, I am not used to like being thicker. Like when I was 29, I ended up gaining 30 pounds. I have several videos about that. Definitely check them out. If you click my playlist, How to Lose Fat, I talk all about my story with that. So I gained 30 pounds and I lost it, which is excellent, which is great. But 50%, oh, I don't know. I'm not gonna even break it down in percentages, but some of it was super healthy and some of it wasn't. And so I've, of course, continued to do the healthy stuff, but I really had to restructure my relationship with food because I was doing things in an unhealthy way. And I'll read your comment in a second. Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? I'm actually going to comment on that. I actually thought about, I was like, I wonder if he ever got his, I think it was the next morning. I was like, I wonder if he ever got his acai bowl. That's funny. But if you are someone, for men too, I'm sure that men go through stuff like this as well, where, you know, you're just kind of, you're used to having the shredded six pack, you're used to having, you know, being able to put on muscle in a certain way, and like the hormones are just different. It's hitting different. And I think that people are nervous to age because it's like, oh, well, that means I just have to deal with like looking a certain way, looking different, looking old, and it's not the truth. Like you can look younger in each decade than you did the decade before just by doing certain things. So one of them is not starving yourself. Like if you intermittent fasting and fasting the correct way is different from starvation or having a really bad relationship with food. So what I would do is, I'm not even kidding you guys, I'd be like, okay, well, I want to lose weight. So I would go in the sauna, which was healthy. Okay, so that was in the good bucket. That was in the pro bucket. But a con was that I would be like, oh, well, I really want a donut. So I'll just eat the donut and then I won't eat the rest of the day. And so what I would do is, no, I did not eat. Well, I don't eat meat now, but during that stage, it was like I was transitioning from eating meat into not eating meat. So, and it was kind of hard too because I didn't really like meat. I liked it. Okay, it's very layered, but the important thing is like what I want you to understand for anyone else or anyone that's on this live or watching this on the replay is that I would do like dumb stuff just to lose weight and it worked. So that's why I think it's really hard that we get in the trap of certain things because certain things that we do like little tricks and little like quick little fads and stuff like that, they do work temporarily, and then the damage that you do, it's so difficult to unravel and get that back in a really, really solid foundation. So I would do stuff like over cardio, being on the treadmill, on the Stairmaster for 45 minutes, an hour, like just really putting my body in a state of shock. And then I would get in the sauna, which was good. But then I would have a donut. I'd be like, okay, well, the donut was 500 calories, but that's all I'm going to eat for the day. So I would have that and like maybe a green juice. So like, I thought I was like fueling my body, but I was actually depleting it from so many important amino acids. So there's 21 branched chain amino acids. I believe 11 of them your body makes naturally. 9 of them you have to get from food. So I was like, over time, it worked really well. Like when I first started to do the whole like just calorie restriction and just like under eat, it worked. I looked good, I looked thin, and I was working out and I was going in the sauna. So on the outside, it was like, whoa, you're really like getting in shape and da da da. And there was like other things I would do too, but those were like the main things. And so on the outside, it was like, it looked really good. But then I noticed like 2 years into me doing weird stuff like that, I just started to feel weak. So like on the outside, I looked like aesthetically, like I looked like I was okay, wow, she's really in shape. And again, I started doing kickboxing. So combination of under eating, kickboxing, and then I would go like 3 weeks really hard with like just a salad and like green juice. And then I would go like 2 weeks of binging. And then I would do like a month of like green juice again and salad. And then I would do a month of like, it was just horrible. Like, yeah, horrible. Like it was just really bad. Like, so I ended up one day, I just was like, I may enjoy how I look on the outside, but like something's off. Like I can definitely tell like something is happening in my body that in my early 30s, it seems like it's fine, but I know I just had a like an intuitive feeling that I know that this I'm it's like something just told me that. So about 2 years ago, two and a half, no, 3 years ago at this point, I started to purposely rebuild my relationship with food. I purposely was like, okay, I already had done so much research. So even though I knew better, I was like, but I'm still getting results. That's why a lot of people do it. Like a lot of people will hear that they shouldn't go on the treadmill and undereat, but then they'll like see a couple other women do it, or men even, if they want to like shred down, and then like they look good. So people are like, well, I don't understand. Like people are looking good doing that, but then I know it's not healthy. So what you really are doing is you're messing up your metabolism, you're weakening your bones, you're weakening your enamel, you're weakening your hair, your hair will start thinning, like all these different your nails, like because you're not nourishing your body. So I was like, okay, I've always been very intuitive and like would really I'm very connected to how my body feels. I was like, okay, something is like screaming at me. And it wasn't anything specific. That's what was interesting. It wasn't like, oh well, I definitely started to like have skin issues, but that was happening before I started doing the drastic stuff. So I just think that that was like adult acne, which is a whole nother conversation for another video. So there was some stuff with the skin. Wasn't really sure if it was connected to like that, but I'm sure it was a part of it. I kind of did notice my hair was like thinner, but like I've always had a lot of hair, so no one else would probably really notice, but I noticed. But I also was transitioning from not eating meat to eating meat. So which when that happened, or I'm not from eating meat to not eating meat. So when that happens, a lot of people do say that when they go plant-based or vegan, their hair starts to fall out, which makes sense because they're not like getting in enough protein. So I did notice some hair thinning, but that's like not an issue at all for me. And I wouldn't even call it hair thinning. It just maybe it was hair shredding, I would maybe say. So basically, bottom line is I just want to encourage anyone who is considering doing fad diets or quick diets, or you saw someone on Instagram, or you live in a major, like a lot of metropolitan cities, a lot of the men and women, they do a lot of drastic things to keep up with the aesthetic, right? The aesthetic of like how you want to look, how, to keep up with like your youthfulness or your beauty or whatever. And a lot of stuff looks good on the outside, but people are having, mental issues, stress issues, bone issues, depleted issues, lack of nutrition issues just because of these drastic ways and methods of doing things. And I started to slowly, like my whole 20s, I was fit, I was naturally fit, I was naturally all that stuff. And then 29, I just out of nowhere gained 30 pounds. So then I flipped that and got back in front of that in my early 30s, but I wasn't doing it in a healthy way. So that's what really led me down to like my whole health, fitness, and mindfulness and nutrition path. It already started, but like it slowly always was there, but I really started to get educated. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to get back in front of this, because I would look at women that were in their 50s that were like their bodies were tight and they were eating these big meals, and their body composition, like they were small and thin, but they were like shredded, and like their skin looked young. So I was like, wait, what are they doing? And then there's other women that do all these other drastic things like weight loss pills and Ozempic, and there's no judgment, but I just was like, those women just seem like they have a more balanced, like they're able to eat what they want. They have like all this muscle. They're very active. They seem like they have like all this radiance and vibrancy because like when you do have muscle, when you build muscle, your muscle is literally like, to me, they're like mineral packs just like sitting on your body. And so you get to benefit from that. So when you don't work out, don't eat healthy, and you do all these drastic things, yeah, on the outside it may look like you're keeping up, but you really are depleting yourself. Let me just see what you all are saying. Let me see if I can just do it on here really quickly. Says, okay, I got my acai bowl like 2 hours later. The Uber Eats guy. Oh, he didn't speak English. Oh man, that's annoying. Let's see. I don't either. I just don't get fulfilled with meat. That's horrible. I have problems with keeping weight. Mineral pack. Wow, good example. Yeah, I mean that's how I see it now. Like when I eat now, yeah, I would prefer to be a little bit more toned, but I know I can get there with just like a couple more disciplined things that I'm incorporating now. But overall, I just feel better because I know I have my magnesium, my zinc, my copper, my potassium, like all the things that like make up this avatar, this body, this shell, that this temple that we live in. You know, it's a huge difference. The calmness I feel in my body, the no anxiety. Of course there's like the normal stresses of life like traffic or whatever, but on a every day, like I'm a really I'm in a centered, heart-spaced, level-headed mind state like 90% of the time, because I really feel like I'm a nourished mind, body, soul person. Like I'm getting my nourishment spiritually, I'm getting it mentally, and I'm getting it physically. And so I have a 10,000 times better relationship with food, and just like enjoying food, and just knowing like every single bite is nourishing my body and what each mineral is doing. Like, okay, great. I'm getting my, when I'm eating my blueberries, I don't see them as blueberries anymore. I see them as antioxidants. When I eat my avocado, I'm seeing it as healthy fats for my brain. When I'm eating my coconut oil on stuff, I'm like, perfect. I'm getting my MCTs. So it's giving me a really sharp, good cognitive brain. Like that's how I see food now. So I I enjoy eating food. I enjoy eating lots of food. And then I'm like, okay, that's fuel for the gym. And then I go to the gym and I'm really, in the zone. And I'm like, I'm just building all these packs on my body that are just going to like feed me through, and get me through anything that I'm going through, because I have all these like packs of minerals. Like, just here's a pack here, there's a pack. That's how I see it now. So I just wanted to quickly get on here. I just felt called to say that, like, with me being in the later 30s and just seeing my new perspective on, beauty, and just like the pressures and stresses, and women just have a lot of pressure to look a certain way. And then even for myself, like even my own pressure for myself, aside from society, even, when you're used to seeing your body and yourself look a certain way in your late teens, 20s, in 30, early 30s, and then you start to transition. I actually, to be honest with you, I pretty much look the same as my early 30s, but it is intentional because I do enjoy looking a certain way on the outside and feeling a certain way on the inside. And so they kind of just mirror each other. But I do want to encourage anyone else that's considering, really wanting to transform and all that stuff. You cannot transform and keep it permanently. You will crack. You will crack. And then what happens is everything leads to something else. So like so I'll just give you one. I think it was when I was like 31. I was doing the whole like super under eating. I would just eat vegetables, cardio, sauna, all that. And then like that started to not work. So then I had come across, you can get it over the counter. It's like HGC little droplets or something. And me and my best friend tried it. We were like, oh, like this is like it's literally a diet where you only eat 500 calories, and then you take the drops, and then something about the drops just doesn't give you an appetite. Do not ever do that. Only time I would actually probably encourage that, like I'd be like, okay, I get why you're doing that, is if you're like getting ready for your wedding, or you're getting ready for something really, really major, and you like really just want to hurry up and like just look how you want to look for the photo shoot, or for the movie, or for the whatever, or for the event, the major event, and then just like go back to eating normal. Like you're going into it with a more like with a different intention, not like this is just gonna be my life, because you cannot sustain eating only 500 calories. So that worked, right? So I did that. That started to work. And then I just was like, this is torture. Like, I'm literally, I remember, oh yeah. So yeah, that's when I was eating meat, because I remember I was 31 and I was eating tomatoes, and like I would cut the tomato and then I would like put like a little bit of ground beef or like a little bit of turkey or something on top of the tomato. And then what else was I doing with that? It was something weird like that, and then like a little tiny like literally as big as my fingernail, a piece of cheese, and I would have like 6 of them, and like that was like 200 and something calories, and then I would be able to do like another 250 calorie thing for dinner. And I just was like, this is, I mean, I look great, like I feel great in a bikini, but like this is not going to work. So um just start correctly and just lock in with nutrition with the correct amount of calories, a good fitness routine, drink water, get sleep, and then you will love it later, because now like I can eat pasta and like still be confident in a bikini tomorrow, because I have a good foundation now. It kind of took me a while to get there. So I did end up, that's when I hired my master trainer. I think I just needed it for mind, body, soul, just to like, but I needed it mainly for the physical, but it really ended up helping my mental and my spiritual too. But I hired my master trainer for 8 months, and that was amazing. Learned a lot from him and got my eating back in order. And then I did gain like 10 solid pounds or something like that, but like I just loved it. I just was like, I don't even care. I'm not as lean as, like I'm not as small, like as thin as I usually am. But I just was like, I just feel better. I just do. So now I'm in the season where I actually truly understand how to maintain this feeling of just feeling healthy and strong, but then I'm going to be able to lean down, and then I'll be able to sustain it forever, for the rest of my life. I'll be like those women in the 50s where their arms and everything looks like nice and solid and tight, and everything just looks tight and nice and glowing, and the skin is popping and all that, because I will have, gained muscle correctly and maintained it. Let me see what you're saying really quickly. It says, what's your main protein source? So my main protein source is legumes, so beans. I love all kind of beans. I don't think I've come across a bean that I don't like yet. All beans, all legumes, all nuts. So I love walnuts. I have a whole thing on my kitchen counter, like walnuts, cashews, almonds, like all kind of nuts. So nuts, peanut butter, vegan protein every single day. It's just, I don't even think about, it's like to me, it's like a vitamin. Like I have to have a protein shake every single day to make sure to keep up with, that's why my hair is like almost down to my hip, because my protein intake is actually, it's pretty solid. Of course, every day, there's ebbs and flows, right? But I'm in a really good spot with my protein. And then where else do I get protein? I had a season where I was eating tofu. That's a very rare one for me. And what's interesting, because, I'm half Punjabi. So growing up, whenever I would visit my dad's house, my stepmom would always make tofu. And I never had a problem with it. I've never felt weird on it, any of that. But just the research, I'm just kind of like, that's going to be a very like far few in between kind of vibe for me with the tofu. Even though tofu is eaten every day in China. I've been to China. They eat it every day in China, and they are living for a long, certain areas they live for a long time. So the tofu one for me is a journey. I really have to really do my research, or find like a top tier like Asian place where it's like the tofu is legit and it's not processed and fake and all that stuff, because it can really mess with your estrogen levels. So tofu was a main one for a while. That's not one for me anymore. Yeah, protein deficiency tofu soy, which is estrogen. Yep. So, that's a slippery slope. Some people are doing great on it, encourage it. I'm not like let's just say if I was at a restaurant and like that was the only option, and it was an amazing dish. It looked like a really tasty, yummy dish. I'd eat it. But it's like a every 3, 4, 5 month kind of thing for me if I do have it. I used to, this is another journey with the eating. I used to really be big on Beyond Meat. I was like, "Oh, perfect. This is my go-to. This is what I do. Like I'm set for life." And I think that that was doing something to my system as well because yeah, there's protein in it and yeah, it's plant-based, but like all the other processed stuff that they have to put in it to keep it, yeah, it's just processed junk. So I just was like, again, I was feeling into my body and I was like, something's off. So yeah, good. Good because I definitely ate it and I loved eating it. Like there's definitely some places where I was like, ooh, every time I come here, I'm getting the Beyond Meat burger. I can't do it anymore. And I'm so happy. I feel like it also the when I stopped eating Beyond Meat, I did notice like some of my skin issues clearing up. So I think it was doing something to my skin. I think there's multiple things that was doing stuff to my skin, but that's another a whole nother video for another time. But yeah, it's too processed. So there's that. And then I was eating tempeh. Tempeh, my body does fine with, but again, it's like another type of soy, I believe. So I could be wrong about that, but I just know tempeh. I didn't want to eat it every day. So, but yeah, I definitely have had tempeh before. What else for protein? I mean, there is a little tiny bit of protein in some of the, vegetables. Like spinach actually has a decent amount of protein. I think it's like 5 grams of protein for like a certain weight of spinach. So I used to do that a lot. I actually should get back into it. I should start putting spinach back into my protein shakes. Um, that's really it. I just do vegan protein, nuts. Oh, and I will do yogurt. Yeah, spinach has been cooked in order to spinach has to be cooked in order to get the full benefits. Okay. I enjoy it both ways. So, beyond plastic, that's a good way to say it. Yeah, no, seriously. Um what else? Trying to think of what else has protein in it. Oh yeah, like I said, so I again, I grew up half Punjabi, so there's just certain things that I am not letting go of when it comes to dairy. I'm not big on dairy. I have my almond milks, my oatmeal milks, my those kind of milks, but I will not ever part with my ghee, ghee. There's just too many damn benefits in ghee. Indian people have been taking ghee for millennia. I'm not now maybe I don't know, maybe someone that in my family that is on my mom's side that's black that needs to stay away from dairy, maybe they might not be able to take it, but I just think DNA wise, there's nothing, it does nothing to me. It's just nothing but amazing benefits. Protein, especially for women with probiotics, that's a good go-to. I don't have cow's yogurt. I don't have dairy yogurt every day, but I will have it a couple times a month. And I kind of like go back and forth between non-dairy and dairy, but the benefits just aren't as good. So for me, those don't mess with me, but milk is a no-go for me. Cow's milk, I don't do cow's milk. And it's fine if you do because there is like proteins and stuff like that. I will have cheese. I love cheese. I just don't eat it often, for the obvious reasons of it being dairy, but I do love cheese. I'm like 70%. Yeah, same. I'm just like a fusion and a hybrid of like a lot of different things. And I really think that's the best way to go with your body is to figure out what works best. Like start somewhere and then just start doing little tweaks and little, just perfecting different areas and little things that work for your body. And number one is what everyone really should be doing is going to the doctor, getting your levels checked, seeing what you're lacking, and then starting with that. So it's like if you're lacking iron, then you need to have a diet where, you're making sure you're getting your iron. If you're lacking X, Y, and Z, so it may take you off of, it may, bra keeps hanging out. It may take you off of the keto diet, or it may take you off of, the carnivore diet because there's just something that you're lacking and you need to get in a certain specific area. It's like crooked. Um, and you know, if anything, it's gonna level you up and you're gonna figure out what works best for you. Also, pay attention to things that like make you feel really bloated, like feel like really inflamed, right? So trying to think of what makes me feel inflamed. Like sometimes like certain nuts will make me feel really inflamed. Like right when I eat it, I can tell like my gut kind of like swells out and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not a nut. There's I forgot what I was watching it on, but there's like all of us have like hundreds of allergies that we don't even know about because it's like our body can tolerate it, but it's like there's still like a reaction of different allergies. So actually that's on my bucket list this month, or this, not this month, but this year, is to get an allergy test. I'm curious because there's certain things I'm like, everyone else is fine on that, but I kind of like have a reaction. So just really feel into your body and see, you know, if you're getting inflamed on something. I know a lot of people get inflamed on tomatoes. I don't really have a problem with tomatoes, but I do know a lot of people do have problems with tomatoes. I believe it. I believe I'm allergic to wheat and gluten. Yeah. Yeah. I love bread. Oh, if you are wanting to like still eat like a bread product, but like scale it down, lavash. Lavash, lavash, lavash. My grandmother's hospice nurse was Persian, and we were talking about health and nutrition, and he's obviously he's a nurse. He's huge on, or not all nurses are big on nutrition, but he in particular was. So we would connect all the time on nutrition, and I was like, yeah, I'm really trying to stay away from bread, and he was like, well, why don't you just get some lavash? I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. So it's like this huge thing, and it's only like 2 grams of carbs or something crazy like that. Let me see. I gotta show you this because I think you can get lavash on Amazon. I've never seen it in a grocery store, at least in where I live. Lavash bread. So yeah, this is what it looks like. This is the exact one that he told me to get. Oh, see, this one it says it's at Ralph's, but not at the Ralph's that where I live. So okay, so yeah, the flatbread. Yep. So this is the exact one that I get that he told me to get. I never felt like inflamed. It never did anything. So if you still want, if you're trying to stay away from bread, but you're like, I just can't part with it all the way, it has, well, this particular, it says 8 grams of carbohydrate. You know, usually bread is like 20, 30, 40 grams. Yeah, you know, the particular Ralph's, Vaughn's, you know, in the particular area that I'm in, they don't have it. But I'm sure like maybe if it was, I'm sure maybe at Whole Foods, but when he told me just to order it on Amazon, I just didn't even really like go on a hunt for it. I just ordered it on Amazon. But I mean that's oh, and there's in one serving, it's only 60 calories. It has calcium, iron, potassium, vitamin D, and it's 6 grams of protein for one half of flatbread. So, and that's what I was so shocked by. I was like, oh my gosh, this whole half of flatbread is only 60 calories, only 8 grams of carbohydrates, and it had protein in it. I was like, this is like, how do people not, like, why are, everything should be eaten with flatbread. Like, I just was like, so yeah, I feel like that's like a little secret sauce. So definitely tap in. It's lavash and it's great. I need to actually order some of that. All right, well, I'm gonna hop off. I should be in bed right now. But thanks for tapping in with me, Patrick, and everybody else. Definitely make sure if you're watching this on the replay, like comment down below what your journey has been with food, I know it's like 9 and people are like, I'm just getting started. Not me. Like you can already tell, like usually I'm like, let's take over the world, transform. But like you could see my eyes are getting red. Like I'm like, I got my nighttime tea. Like I'm tired. I'm tired. And usually like it's kind of like the lights like yeah, I need to bring it down. But let me know what your journey has been with food, your relationship with food, and just like what diets you've been on. Like, I'm just curious to hear about what people's nutrition has been on. If anyone wants to know what I do to stay, healthy, fit, excited about food, get my How to Lose Belly Fat ebook guide. It's in the description. It's great. Everyone that's gotten it, it's like it's definitely opened up my eyes. It's a What I love about my ebook guide is it created itself. Like, I didn't care to ever write an ebook guide, but women were asking me what I do, and then I kept repeating myself, and I was just like, let me just put this in an ebook guide. So I just would take like all the DMs over and over and over that I would, and then I expanded on it, of course, and it's like 40 pages of an ebook guide of like really jam-packed, great information. And it's just an easy way to lose weight. And I even have testimonials. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I have like testimonials. So definitely check it out. It's linked down in the description box. All right, make sure to subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Bye.